are people going to be able to make a change or go out there and possibly vote him out? I feel like
if you want to talk
constitutionally
speaking, you cannot prevent the election from happening. Now, can you put barriers
as well? And how this country,
can you put barriers in place? Absolutely, you can put barriers.
We control this country. We should be able to impeach. We have the right to get rid of the president. We have right to get rid of any governor. And anytime that we step up to try to do something like that, we know
get your ass out the way.
Right. They use their intimidation. They use their power to, shut the people up. But the way this country was founded, and if you go back and read, we have the power to control this country. We have all control. But the way that they pushed it and the intimidation factors that they use make it seem like we have no control. And, it's sad, that the fact that we can't come together as a people to understand this. And, all it takes is small groups of people from within each state, each city.
I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Right. But, as soon as it happens, what's already being declared? We got to shut that down right now. That is not going down. But, we get intimidated. Some of us get intimidated by it, and, those groups disperse, and it never spreads as much as it should. We outnumber the government, but, it's just like the guy that was recording the video. Are you willing to die for what it is that you're standing up for? Are you willing to get arrested or possibly get shot to help George Floyd out? That's a tough spot to be in, honestly.
If I'm being honest, my answer personally is probably going to be no.
Right, me too. I'm sorry. I know in my heart that all I can do is probably speak up and say something, but I don't know if I'd be able to rush in there, shove him off, and possibly get shot and leave my wife and kid behind with nobody to take care of them.
Right, and it's not that not because I devalue his life, but it's a very there's a lot of nuance to that decision. In the moment, like I said, my family's gonna be on my mind. My own life is gonna be on my mind. Just as far as I don't know if I actually step in and I try to intervene, who do you call the police? But if the only way to do it is to physically intervene, then now I'm putting myself in a position where I'm going to have to assault a police officer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair time. If you make it. If
I make it, right. So
it sounds good in theory. I think that for Black people in particular, that would be something that could be more relevant if we were more in tune with our Second Amendment rights. I know that's what the Black Panthers push, and they police the police.
Right.
And that was what was so intimidating about them, because all right, you look at this situation, you have 4 police officers there, all armed, 3 subduing this man and 1 guarding the crowd. Now, let's reverse those tables and just say that everybody that was in the crowd was armed. And the police knew that everybody was armed, just like those individuals who stormed the Capitol because they wanted to go out and get their nails done with their weapons. So if everybody is standing there armed, it kind of puts a different spin on police reaction. Because now, you're sitting there we might not make it out of this, y'all. We might want to, take this L and get up.
Right.
So,
And the thing about it, I'm not trying to stop you from doing your job, but it's just, I'm trying to stop the unnecessariness. And it's ironic to me that places where gun control laws are more lenient typically have lower crime rates. To me, that speaks directly to the point that you just made. If everybody has a gun, Texas, I'm probably not trying to run up on somebody and rob them because I'm liable to get shot.
My road rage has gone down by 45% from 50. Because I don't know who's carrying out here. Like, I'm not trying to cut somebody out, and 75-year-old grandpa wants to pull his gun out and shoot me because he was feeling some type of way. Or I'm very relaxed. I mean, I've always been very relaxed, but I'm more sound-minded. I'm like, you know what?
Is it worth it?
You want
it's not that serious,
my guy. Go ahead, bro. But I was gonna say, when's the last time you guys heard or have gone to a Black Panthers rally or like a gathering?
I went about.
I have never been.
4 years ago. 4 years ago, when the new Black Panther Party was kind of trying to stir up.
And how out there and open is our, KKK rallies or,
it's out there.
That intimidation factor plays a part. How is it that hate group is still around, but a party such as a Black Panther Party is like, it's not out there. It's nowhere to be found.
Well,
numbers.
No, I don't think it's numbers.
No.
I mean, part of it may be numbers, but you have to take into consideration who defines what a hate group is. And I don't mean that from just personal preference or experience. I'm talking about legally. Who defines what a hate group is? The government, who is majority Caucasian, correct?
Right.
All right. So you look at the Black Panther Party. Just by the title alone, what the group, what the collective of the group is.
Wild animals.
Meanwhile, yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the KKK, they're made up of a lot of these politicians' grandfathers and uncles, and George from down the street, and Bill who goes fishing with my dad, and they're made up of people who are non-threatening to them. So why would they classify them as a hate group when they don't see them as hateful people? They see them as their neighbors. But when you get a group of Black people who aren't their neighbors, who they don't have any correlation or relationship to, so you get a group of us, okay, fine. I honestly believe that a group of Black people isn't necessarily threatening to them. They might not like to see you around, but not necessarily threatening. Unassuming group of Black people. Now you give them all guns, and it's like, all right, they all got guns, but we have ours too. But then you organize them. That becomes intimidation. So now you have a group of organized people who do not look like you, who are heavily armed. That becomes an intimidation factor, which is why the Black Panthers got listed as a hate group so quickly. And I think it took, I want to say, maybe as recent as the last 5 to 6 years or so, the KKK was finally listed as a hate group. You're talking about well over 100 years into their history, and they were finally listed as a hate group. Meanwhile, the Black Panthers weren't around for 10, maybe 15 years, and they were like, boom, hate group. It's all, I hate to make it about race, but it's hard to say that it's not.
They were having that, I forget how many years ago, maybe like 2-3 years ago, and they were having the white power rallies and KKK rallies. You didn't see many people. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, because I did get some cats get arrested, but those riots weren't getting shut down. They weren't tear gassing them up. They weren't enforcing, the law on them.
They were pushing against the riot line. And shit.
Stone Cold Steve Auschwitz was out there. Out here wilding, and they weren't doing anything. But the fact that they've been around this long, and they appear, and you don't see law enforcement rushing in to shut that down ASAP like they would do a Black Panther group. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, Brock. But if I see you and I see Mark in a Black Panther rally or a group, I'm like, oh, it's Brock and Mark. They're the nicest guys I know.
But see, that's my point. You're proving my point. They see those guys at the KKK.
Yeah, I get it.
Those ties are so deep and rooted that he could be bagging my groceries and not show me a sign of hate whatsoever up until he gets together with his group, like this Hispanic. Oh, he went and bought some leeks. Who buys some leeks? What Hispanic out there buy some leeks? it's just crazy how long they've been around. And I mean, it's not a secret.
I think that with the policing of them, what we see, and this isn't something that's written anywhere. It's just my observation. When they have their rallies, the police is there to, in essence, set a perimeter for them so that no one comes in and starts, any kind of a fuss with their protest or rally. Meanwhile, when it's black people, the police are there to police us, as opposed to setting the same perimeter so no one comes in to interfere and stir up anything with whatever cause that we're trying to promote.
That's another rabbit hole we could go down into, because I mean, you think about that and how organized they are.
The police.
I'm not saying that officer that killed George Floyd is KKK. I'm just saying a picture here, just for a broad picture. Let's say he was involved in one of those groups, and he knows that his clan is watching. Like, all right, you got the opportunity here, and you got the power to, get rid of this black man. You know what we believe in. That's just a whole other rabbit hole of control and stuff that's going on. But I'm not gonna get into it.
It's a street cred.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I know my rank.
Maybe his initiation.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.